Dr. Vallayan considered himself the galaxy's foremost expert on human psychology. For 3 years, he had studied captured human specimens in his laboratory on Kepler Station, documenting their emotional responses with scientific precision. His research had earned him acclaim throughout the Dominion's academic circles. Subject exhibits elevated stress hormones when separated from offspring. He dictated to his neural recorder, watching the human female through reinforced glass. Fascinating how their primitive bonding mechanisms override logical thinking. The human, designation Subject 47, sat quietly in her containment cell, her 7-year-old daughter sleeping fitfully beside her. Dr. Vallayan had been particularly pleased to acquire a parent-child pair for his experiments on human attachment theory. Doctor, his assistant Krytok approached nervously. The subject has requested another meeting with you. Vallayan's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Again? What does she want this time? She says she has information about human emotional vulnerabilities that might interest you. The Dominion scientist's interest peaked. Subject 47 had been surprisingly cooperative lately, offering insights into human behavior that had advanced his research considerably. Perhaps she was finally accepting her fate as a test subject. 20 minutes later, Dr. Vallayan entered the consultation chamber, where Subject 47 waited, her hands folded calmly on the metal table. Her name was Dr. Elena Vasquez, though he preferred to think of her by her designation number. It maintained scientific objectivity. You wish to speak with me about emotional vulnerabilities? Vallayan settled into his chair, his recorder already active. Elena smiled, an expression that had become increasingly common and somehow more unsettling each time. I've been thinking about your research, Doctor. You've spent 3 years studying how human emotions can be exploited. Indeed, your species' attachment to offspring creates predictable behavioral patterns That's what's so interesting, Elena interrupted softly. You've been so focused on studying our emotions that you never considered yours. Vallayan tilted his head. I fail to understand. Dominion psychology is well documented. We have evolved past the inefficiency of... Doctor, what's your greatest fear? The question hung in the air like a blade. Vallayan felt an unfamiliar tightness in his chest chambers. I don't have fears, he said automatically. Fear is an evolutionary disadvantage Everyone has fears, Doctor. Even species that think they've evolved past them. Elena leaned forward slightly. Would you like to know what I've learned about Dominion psychology over the past 3 years? Something in her tone made Vallayan's skin prickle. What do you mean? I mean that while you were studying me, I was studying you. Elena's smile widened. Did you know that you check the lab security systems exactly 17 times each night? Or that you haven't slept more than 3 hours consecutively since my daughter and I arrived? That's standard security protocol. Is it standard protocol to research the breeding cycles of Earth spiders at 3 a.m.? Or to compile detailed files on human serial killers? Elena pulled out a small data pad. Somehow she had accessed the station systems. Timothy Dahmer, Edmund Kemper, Aileen Wuornos. You've been reading about them obsessively. Dr. Vallayan felt his respiratory system constricting. How had she? You see, Doctor, you made one crucial error in your research methodology. Elena stood slowly, and Vallayan found himself unable to move. You assumed that because I was your prisoner, I was also your victim. Guards! Vallayan tried to call out, but his voice came out as a whisper. They can't hear you. I've been modifying the station's systems for months. Elena walked around the table with predatory grace. Dr. Elena Vasquez, by the way. Xenopsychology, with a specialty in interspecies behavioral manipulation. The humans didn't send you a random refugee, Doctor. They sent you me. Impossible, he gasped. Our intelligence said exactly what I wanted them to say. Elena knelt beside his chair, her voice dropping to a whisper. Now, let me tell you what I learned about Dominion fear responses during my 3 years here. You're terrified of contamination, which is why you've been sterilizing everything 17 times. You're afraid of chaos, which is why you've been studying human killers. And most importantly, She leaned close to his auditory canal. "You're absolutely paralyzed by the thought of being studied the way you've studied others." Dr. Valenex tried to speak, but found only silence. "My daughter isn't sleeping, doctor. She's been recording every conversation, cataloging every one of your behavioral tics, documenting your psychological profile with the same clinical detachment you showed us." Elena straightened up. "Congratulations. You're about to become the first comprehensive study on Dominion emotional vulnerability." As Elena walked toward the door, Dr. Valenex finally found his voice. "What do you want?" She paused at the threshold. "I want you to remember something, doctor. When you study monsters, make sure you don't become one. Because if you do..." Her final smile was pure predator. "We study monsters, too." The door sealed behind her, leaving Dr. Valenex alone with the terrifying realization that for 3 years, he had been the one in the cage.